we took off a little bit of time. I didn't have a babysitter for 2 weeks. Poor me, I know. Now, it was actually good, though, because I got to spend more time with the kids and realize a lot of cool stuff. But that's all boring shit. What's really going on? Oh, I know what I want to talk about. I told you this on Sunday, because Sunday you came over before you guys went to the competition.
Wow, that was... Wow.
I think it was Sunday, right?
No, you're right.
Yeah, a couple days ago.
In my head, I'm way off, but yeah.
Yeah, so Sunday we are here. My brother Steve came over, his wife and kid, and man, the kids are just having a blast. Everyone was swimming.
Everybody.
I don't know if I had done it before you came over or not, but I did.
You've done it a few times because you showed me some pictures.
Yeah, and so yeah. I've tried it. I'd say I've tried it maybe like 10 times or so, and it's always no problem. But I go up on our little waterfall. And, you know, it's not that high, three feet off the water. And I tried going from crow to handstand to just falling into the pool. Because I was like, whatever. Because at first I tried it on the side of the pool. And my wife said my head was coming really close to the side of the pool and to stop. And because I was stupid. And then, but I was like, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. I sound just like my son, Jake, who's 3 years old. I always tell him what not to do. And he's like, oh, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. I'll be fine. And so I'm doing it. I'm trying it. I do it one time. And this is when the kids are watching.
Yeah, we're all outside.
And Olivia doesn't want me to do it, and she's already said she doesn't like seeing me do it. And I've already had this thought to myself before. I was like, well, I shouldn't be doing this in front of the kids. I was like, what kind of example is that? I mean, part of me wants to. I rationalize it saying I want to give them, I want them to see something cool that they're doing. Like when I saw my dad do handstands off the diving board, I was like, that's cool. I want to be able to do that, but I don't want them to be able to do that on a dangerous surface because. Dude, it's slippery.
The water's flowing.
So it's slippery. Yeah. And not only that, but
there's not a lot of room up there.
When we practice, when we're practicing stuff, I have my fingers gripping and everything. But this way, you have to hold the edge, and so it's not a good idea. But I was confident, and I tried, and it doesn't look good, but I'm starting to get better at it. And then you went up there, and then you were checking out, and you're like, I forget what'd you say?
This is gnarly, man. It was pretty. I mean, I went up there and. Tried a little something, and I was like, man, I don't have room for this. And then I just fell in, said forget about it. Just don't want to do it. But then, so you went back up.
Oh, yeah. So me, of course, I'm like, so I hear that. I'm like, oh, wow. I was like, how cool. I was like, maybe I'll be able to show that I can do it. Yeah. And so I was like, oh, it's easy. And I go up there again, and I'm getting ready. And I'm thinking to myself, I was like, man, this is sharp. Like, I don't want the kids on this. And then I go and I slip, and You probably have a better idea of what happened. I don't really remember. All I felt like this hand went out, and then I got cut.
One hand slipped out, and man, your face came really close to the ledge, and then you kind of fell in at an awkward angle.
Wow!
But that wasn't it. It was just the fact that out of a backyard full of kids, it took two adults. To figure out what not to do, because then I hopped up right next to you, and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna try the waterfall, but I'm gonna go to this rock over here.
And that's after, and I get out of the pool. I don't know if you heard me, but I was like, I'm not doing that again. Yeah. I was worried. I didn't even want to look at my hand. Luckily, it's like a small, it took off skin.
Yeah.
So, but I was holding it. I didn't want to look. I'm like, oh shit, I'm feeling so stupid for doing this. I don't care about the act that I fell. Whatever. If it wasn't, but just that it'd been dangerous. And I was like, man, why am I risking this?
All there,
and I promised right there. I was like, no, I was like, I'm not doing it again. I'm not gonna risk that. It's done. And then
And I was like, so I'll just try the lower rock. There's like a rock under the waterfall. I'm gonna try that one. I'm messing around, doing some handstands on it, and then I lose my balance. Fall in awkwardly and really could have hurt my leg.
Dude, you could have broken your ankle easily. You could have shattered it.
My leg landed outside and I was inside, and luckily I just let the pressure go. I didn't try to base on the leg or anything. But looking back, I'm like, yeah, you idiot. You just saw Mark do that, and you're thinking, oh, I'll just go lower, on the lower branch. try that one. But no, it was the same thing. And then I was like, all right. Now we all know what not to do.
Yeah,
and the kids are looking at us like, you idiots. We're not even watching.
Yeah, so we gave them, it was a good lesson because now neither one of the kids can stand the sight of blood, and they have little scrapes and everything, and they'll make it a big deal. I'm like, I was like, really? I was like, look at this. I was like, look at that. Yeah. Like, you want to do that to yourself? I was like, do stuff that's dangerous. I was like, but no, I was like, we just learned something. I was like, Daddy was stupid. And I told him, I was like, look, Daddy did something that was dumb. I was being dangerous. I thought I would be fine. And look, man, I got hurt. It could have been a lot worse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could have split your lip, your jaw, your face, your eye, anything.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
So, but later that night, you know, I'm starting to think about it because I was gonna post a picture about it and say, oh look, I was stupid. I was like, okay, well, why the fuck do I still want to go and do it again? Like, how hard is it gonna be for me to keep my promise to stay off of there? Which is ridiculous. It shouldn't be an issue at all. But if someone else is doing something, then I'm gonna want to do it. And so I'm trying to figure out. I'm like, damn. I was like, it's all ego. It was me trying to show off. And dude, I had a lot of realizations right then. I was like, damn. I was like, it's no different than how it was with MMA, being a fighter compared to a martial artist. And it's no different than how I approach jiu-jitsu, like being smashing and using strength and size compared to like actually seeing the art. So yeah, but no, that night I was thinking about that. I was like, so, like, why did we? First off, like, why do we have to do it? I was like, I don't do it on my own. And not only that, one of the things is just how stupid it is because I can't do that in the gym. I think we were just practicing it last week.
Yeah.
Going from crow to a handstand.
I did just show you not too long ago.
You just showed me, and I couldn't nail it. So I wasn't able to nail it on the flat surface. I wasn't able to do it.
I'm not on a waterfall.
So I was like,
it makes me laugh now, but you're right.
But what an idiot. You know, it's like, why am I doing that? And especially having kids. Like, I felt sick about it. Oh, man. And then, you know, I was going to say, oh, man, I'm being too hard on myself. But no. I was like, that's just stupid. Like, I could have got really fucked up. I could have, you know, like, so stop. But I still have that urge. And that's how it was with fighting, where I wanted to fight again. It's like, and then I saw that urge. It's like, well, why? It's like, well, with fighting, it was because I was feeling like I had something to prove. That was a big part of it, identity. But with this, it's like, yeah, man, that's why I think I've been missing the whole point of yoga. And you something you said the other day. I think when we were talking about Babalu, about you know, it's not about being good at yoga. And because I've used that a lot. I've used that thinking a lot. And that's me coming in as an athlete. That's me coming in as a football player.
Most guys, the Western, we all make everything competitive. But
and that's how I've been going at it with the yoga. Like, I've had tons of awesome breakthroughs and just all kinds of stuff. And part of it, I try to rationalize, like, oh, okay, well, I want to show other people what I can do and what it's given me, and that's why I want to be able to do this stuff. But no, man, it's being competitive. It's like I wanted to show off, like, oh, look what I can do. And it's like, I don't know. That's I think a lot of it's missing the point. It's like, you know what? So I'm starting to get that. So maybe that's going from like a white belt to a blue belt.
Yeah, I was gonna say, for you to see it, that's like the first stage. Like, because when I would first nail a handstand or a scissor or something like that, I would get so giddy and try to hold it in class and, you know, peacock a little bit. Yeah, because it's like learning a new move, like a kickflip on a skateboard, or you know, whatever it is. You're gonna get all excited about it. You're gonna want to peacock a little bit, but you know, you're rationalizing it, you're learning, like, it's not about that. And I went through the same thing and did the same stuff, but I will tell you, like, I still do want to, like, show people, like, oh, look what I can do, like, with yoga, because I want to show them that yoga's good. Not so much that I want to, like, peacock and say, oh, look, I can do a backflip, but I want to show you, like, no, look, I can do a backflip because of this, and I used to be that, and you know, now just try this with me.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, I feel you. I feel you're going with it.
Yeah, but I was really thinking about the similarity between the approach, because I'm writing chapter 22 of Unlocking. It's the second to last chapter, and it's pretty awesome. It starts with a trip back to Brown University, where I had the chance to be a guest lecturer.
Okay.
And part of the end of the lecture, I brought in a fighter I'd interviewed before, Johnny Campbell. His fight at Cage Titans. It was the first fight I saw. Well, he was the main event of this. I think there were 16 fights on the card, and his fight just blew me away. I interviewed him a couple days later. Dude was awesome. Hooked me up with like The Power of Now and some other books that changed my way of thinking. And then it just worked out awesome. Where another interview I had planned that day fell through, and he made like last minute. I just texted him. He was able to do it. He drove an hour down. And then did the interview.
Hey, last minute, drove an hour?
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
cool.
I mean, dude, it was super cool of him to be able to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
And he had a fight coming up too. But
what was, fuck off, man. No, dude, I'm busy.
Well, and what was crazy was our first interview was awesome because, like I said, it was I think 3 days after his first fight, But it was at his parents' house. It was nice and quiet, and there's no one around. And all my interviews prior to that had been at a gym where you get the bells ringing and there's people watching. Yeah. And it's a lot harder like that. But with Johnny, it's like not only were we doing it in front of a classroom where we know we're in front of sociology students and a professor, and we know that they're watching and they're paying attention to everything you're saying and how you're doing it. And then also with him, like, I think he didn't go on to college, I don't think, and so I know that was the thing too, because here's all these other kids that are in the Ivy League school. I mean, because I know how it made me feel when I was actually going there. I felt like I didn't belong.
Dude, I can see that.
But it was just an awesome interview. And so he's one of the guys that I focus on in that. He had his own reasons for fighting, but then the second one is Ben Saunders. I got to train with him.
Killer B.
Yeah, he's awesome. Dude, it was 3 hours of footage. The most footage I have with any fighter.
That's a long. That's like like we're saying like a podcast. That's a long ass podcast.
No, it was cool, man. Because we did. I'd been training with him at 10th Line. I got lucky enough to where I was starting to get good enough I could be his partner. So he was able to just. I was his dummy, doing everything to me. Yeah. So we did great. But he came over here. We hung out. He did like a therapy session, and then we did like a 3-hour interview on the couch. And
that's awesome.
Yeah. So he's gonna come out again. I told him he's to stay here. We'll do yoga. Driving the headquarters, train there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's gonna happen. But his story. I mean, there's one other fighter like him, Aaron O'Reilly. He's the only other fighter out of all these guys that I've interviewed where they saw the first UFC, and that's when they decided like. That's what I'm doing. And then even before that, like probably a little bit before that, they were looking at martial arts like, this is what I'm going to do the rest of my life. I'm going to be a martial artist. If it includes fighting, then that's even better. But yeah, man, it's crazy the difference. And it's something that Ben said. There was part where we were talking about how stupid I was taking fights and how I just went in like with no experience whatsoever and just jumped in pretty much. He's like, well, you played football, right? He's like, that's the meathead approach, generally. And not saying all football players are meatheads, and not saying all football players that go into MMA are doing the meathead approach. That's what I did. I get what he was saying, and I could see that. And I was like, that was my approach to martial arts too. I wasn't getting any of the art of it, but so now it's kind of cool to actually, because I've been around so much, I'm talking to so many people, I do see the art of it. And I see this art now in jiu-jitsu. Starting to appreciate that. So yeah, but
yoga too. I think yoga's showing you an art form of it. You definitely got softer. Not softer and
total sissy.
No, just like rolling. Like I remember how we used to roll. Like even today, we went hard today, but it was different from how we would used to go or something like that. Like it was calculated. It was efficient, I guess that's that's a good word to say. It wasn't just sporadic, and your breathing's controlled. We were just having fun with it. So I think you've come a long way. Like gotten a little softer with your movements.
Yeah, no, I think it's helped a ton with that. That's because like I feel sorry for. I want to apologize to him when I rolled with before, and I was like, because even if even though I was aware of the size and not want to use the size, not want to use the strength. Dude, when I think it's just human nature. If you're losing, if you're in a situation where you have to submit to another person, and I've been submitting to everybody everywhere, it's like you're going to use what you need to use. But then it carried over too much. And that's one reason why I was disappointed with the San Diego competition, because I went back to that when I was in the heat of the moment. Like I went back to trying to just do that, we're just squeezing, and that's why it didn't work. But no, so that's today felt cool, man.
Today was really good. You mopped the floor with me pretty much today. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, I think it's just us, not caring. I think that's a big part of it for me too. It's like, let's have fun with it, and.
I mean, off topic, but just find a good training partner, man. I mean, it's hard to find guys our size, 220 plus, who can move decent. Yeah. So I think that's why me and Mark, when we're just training in the gym and we're just rolling, we go for some fun shit and we can really excel because. Yeah, I don't care. Like I'll tap to him and I'm laughing like, damn, that was good. Like or he's helping me figure this out or that out. So just really quick, just training partners, guys. Find a good one.
Yeah, especially ones that can rap to you while you're rolling. Like that's
guy, he's cocky motherfucker.
But you know what? And that's when it reminded me of how I was. I told you when I used to roll with my buddy Brian Shepard, the real big guy.
Yeah.
we used to, I used to do all
Yeah,
kinds of
yeah,
shit like that too.
yeah.
And it was like, and it was fun, and
That's
like, and we're still learning, and like that's like, okay, it's fun. We can go for this. If I do something stupid, okay, I know something. You point out, like, yeah, it's like that was stupid. I can't do that with my leg, but it was fun trying it and just seeing if anything's there.
And we were training hard.
Yeah.
We rolled for 35 minutes straight. Like we didn't
Yeah.
stop, or 30 minutes, whatever. We trained
Yeah.
hard. So we were just like messing around. But yeah, I don't know. That was a weird tangent.
Yeah, no, but I thought it was cool. What else, man? There was something else. I'm sure there's all kinds of important shit.
Oh, really quick.
Yeah.
So getting back to the pool stuff and us, being silly and all that.
Yeah.
So for me, is it a sense of just being a dumb little boy and playing in the pool? Because do you feel your age?
No, I don't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm not old. I'm not an old guy at all. I'm on my late 20s, but I feel young as hell. Like I feel
Yeah, but
like a stupid little
I know,
kid, kind of.
I know, and that's my big thing too. It's like, I was like, I feel old saying I'm not gonna do it. I was like, I don't want to be that old fuck saying, that old person saying that, I don't want to do that. Don't get hurt, Timmy, don't get hurt. I was like, but at the same time, I was like, nah, I don't want my kid doing that. I never want to see my kid
True.
fall like that. Holy shit.
True.
Holy shit. I don't even want to do it. I don't even want to see my kid have this kind of cut on their hand. I would feel terrible if I allowed that.
Yeah.
And by
Yeah.
showing them what that, and showing them, like, thank God they're both listening to me now saying, yeah, look, daddy's
No,
saying,
daddy.
don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, daddy's saying
Yeah.
don't do it.
Yeah. But I don't know, just going back, it was just like that boy in me, like playing in the pool. Like we've all done stupid things.
Yeah.
I jumped off of a roof
Well,
into a pool.
yeah.
Like you've done some dumb things, kids. Like
Yeah, don't do it.
whoever's listening. But
Yeah.
I could have snapped something.
Yeah, yeah, we know a guy that he's a quadriplegic
Oh,
because
yeah?
he jumped into a lake. It was like, man,
I know, but he jumped
Yeah.
into a pool drinking in a shallow pool and
yeah.
quad now.
And all my life too, I thought about this. I think I first started examining a couple years ago. It was at Esalen, and it was the first time I was doing dangerous riding, and it was a crazy experience, but it made me think about my life. I was like, man, I always am down to do something dangerous, reckless. I've done it my whole life. It's like, why is that? Why is it because I was suicidal? Like I'm not suicidal anymore. You know,
Yeah.
I don't have those. Like I never have those tendencies at all anymore. I never had those desires. Like that's a thing of the past. But I still have this recklessness that I have to temper. I'm reading a book right now, The Anatomy of Violence, I believe.
Yeah.
And the part I'm on right now is like all the factors, all the genes that play different roles in it, how certain things increase your reward-seeking behavior.
Oh, yeah,
And
we
do-
said that earlier.
and like,
sounds.
reward-seeking, and attention seeking. I mean, that could be a middle child thing too. Who
That was
knows?
me earlier, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
But dude, I did all kinds of crazy stuff to get attention. Like whether it was like drinking or eating like the nastiest and just most gross thing ever. Whether it was like inflicting pain on myself. Whatever
crazy.
it was. Like it was. And then just dangerous stuff. Climbing. Like dude, when we were little kids, we had these huge trees on our backyard. At the very least, 2 stories tall, and we would cross from one tree to the other, like at the very top. And I was like doing that. Like if my kid was 5 years old and I saw him do that, holy shit, I'd have a heart attack. And that's not saying, oh, we should baby our kids. And no, it's like you should not let them do really super dangerous stuff, or they could kill themselves if something goes wrong.
No, but is it me, or does it seem like parents are just becoming aware now? Because once again, I'm not very old, but when I was young, I did some crazy shit, and like, it's not that our parents were bad parents, but come on, everyone used to. I mean, and the further back you go, the more you got away with shit, I guess. Like riding your bike down the street to go, who knows? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like climbing trees and stuff like that. And I don't know. It's just like why now? All of a sudden, are our parents just waking up now, or?
I don't know. Maybe I think there's more fear overall. I think there's a lot of fear in the world.
Livy's 9 or 10.
8.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty sure. Nice try.
8. She's 8. Would you let her walk to baby's house by herself?
Dude, I still usually like at least one of those.
At least step out the door.
Yeah, step out and just make sure she walks with it. Cause dude, who knows?
Dude, but when I was 8, 9, 10, I was like blocks away from my house on my skateboard or like, dude, I was like, square blocks, like city square blocks, man.
Yeah, It's hard. Yeah, it's hard to.
That's like 90s. That was just in the 90s, you know? Like,
Yeah, and because it's not. Don't quote me on this. Look it up. Do your own research. But I do not think it's any worse now than it was before. It's just there's more fear because
is it the news? Is it the internet?
It's because we hear of everything. Before it used to be your local news. You get your local news. You have like 1 or 2 stories, and now you get everyone's local news. You get the bad story. You get the bad story everywhere. There's always a bad story happening somewhere. So now, all your news you can always find is like terrible shit.
That's true.
You could find bad shit happening. Type in Google bad shit happening to kids today, and every day there's gonna be something just because of the statistics. But look at like, oh, bad things happening to kids in whatever your city is. Like no, I was like don't worry too much. But
yeah,
you can also. I'm also realizing too. Like Jake, when he already broke his collarbone because he took a tumble down 1 step. The way he moved, like it's like
he
probably gonna, like,
thought he broke his tailbone
yeah.
that one night. That was bad.
Yeah,
or
so
that
like,
one day.
You just have to accept like, and that was just from him falling, like sitting down. So like you can't control the situation, man. You just gotta hope everything turns out well. And that's kind of, I think it's just overall. That's what I always keep going back to. Is like, you know what? He, as morbid as it is, dude, like he could have died yesterday, I could die today, whatever.
Well,
so like,
yeah. Well, you know, with going back to us, I think like my experiences as a kid and being in weird scenarios, like there was a wooded area next to where we lived, and like I've been in some pretty weird situations, but I guess I was pretty keen to them because I was put in that situation. Maybe if I wasn't ever put in that situation, I'd be oblivious and get raped, or I don't know. Like I've been through some weird shit, but as a kid you kind of learn to navigate. But what's too much? Like what's too long of a leash for a kid? Like you know,
Ben Saunders, he had a really good point. He talked, and you could probably relate to this because he said his upbringing let him know early on, like the world's not all rainbows.
Yes.
You know, it's like he's like he got to see a dark side of it. He got to see like some bad shit. It's like, hey, this is real life. So that kind of, you know, it.
And that's a perfect way to put it. And I think I've learned that early too. And I've been around people, and I still have, you know, people that are close to me who haven't and who don't get it yet. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, wow, I'm like, one of these days you're gonna realize that something's gonna slap you in the face, and it's not gonna be pretty. And I'm just like, damn. I look back and I didn't like the way I was raised, but now I'm looking at it like, well, maybe, I don't know. Maybe there were some positives.
Yeah. And yeah, I think it's awesome to be able to look back and see what those positives were, what the negatives were, and just like, okay, well, I want to change this. I need to do this. And dude, like this weekend too, I got to just see, you know, just a reminder of how much I suck as a dad, and not saying too hard on myself because I could be a better father.
I didn't see that one coming.
Like I'm not a bad dad. I wouldn't say I'm a bad dad. Like, you put me against another dad, like I'll
my dad
probably pretty
your
good.
Dad up.
But yeah, exactly. But I was like, man, you know what? I was like, even if I'm giving them a dirty look, even if I'm or saying something really mean to them, I was like, man, I was like, you can't take that shit back. I do not want my kids to have that vision of me as being this mean, overbearing person.
Didn't we all kind of have like? Is there any kind of old school dad like when he comes home? Oh shit, dad's home. Like,
well, but why does it have to be that way?
No, I'm not saying it has to, but
that's what
the majority of us, right? I mean,
that's
when
what,
dad gets home, oh shit.
Yeah, that's what was expected. That was how it was. I mean, shit with their dad's dad. I mean, it was even worse. And dude, every generation, dude, I think it's just gonna get a little bit better. Because like, yeah, I could totally understand. Dude, you look at your parents, you can completely understand them. You don't hold anything against them. It's like, even if you disagree with something or you think, oh, maybe that wasn't the best thing for me.
Yeah.
Dude, generally, every parent is gonna do the best that they can
with the knowledge they had at that point in time.
Yeah, I mean, but if not, if they're a piece of shit, they're a piece of shit. So maybe you have every right to hate them.
And everyone fucks up. I can honestly look back at things my parents did. I'm like, all right, they just fucked up. Like, right there.
Yeah. And I have, but dude, I try to be aware of it. And then when I do mess up, then I go and I apologize, man. I think that's the biggest thing, because it's teaching them. Hey, and I tell Livy all the time. I was like, hey, because like, don't go thinking that all adults know everything. Don't think that your mom and dad know everything. I was like, because we don't. I was like, you know, like we could figure stuff out. We know enough, whatever else. But alpha brain, shit.
I thought we were riffing good, but yeah, we get. I mean,
I could just forget what's
This is shit I think we should leave because people will laugh at this. But anyway,
I'll leave it. Okay, so yeah.
No, man.
Maybe it's too much alpha brain. I'm using the.
So you're overthinking.
Yeah,
I'm over.
Oh, dude, that's probably it. I gotta stop with the brain games too. Fucking brain games.
Fucking brain games. But no, man. So yeah, we covered it. We got some ego stuff with the pool. Learn how to what not to do in the backyard.
Yeah. Do not. Hey, just stop doing stupid shit. And if you find yourself doing stupid shit, ask yourself why. Like, why am I doing stuff that good chance that could hurt me? If I want to show off and try the crude handstand, why don't I do it on the grass? Right? You know, I have a slightly better chance I'll actually land it. There's a very small chance I'll get hurt. So why not do that if I want to, you know?
Hindsight's always 20/20, man.
No, man, it's yeah. You gotta. It's interesting because I was gonna ask you. I was like, okay, well, why did you do it? Like, I know I've always been reckless, and I'm realizing I still got those issues.
Yeah, but I was just like you. I've done it on plenty of pools. I've hit crows on, and just, but I think it's like the old monkey climbed to the highest tree. Like he fell off that branch. Let me go to the branches a little lower, So
it could be this place is cursed. I'm actually, dude.
So instead of us acknowledging our ego, we're just going to curse.
Going with it being cursed. All right,
we'll go with that.
Check. There's a reason.
Because we're great. Like we can do it.
Yeah. So we're gonna change pace and go into because we always end each episode with a chapter from Brightside. I think we're on chapter 14 today.
Chapter 14.
Yeah, chapter 14 of Brightside. It's awesome. Check it out. Get on Audible. Enjoy. Later.
Chapter 14. It's lunchtime, and Sarah still hasn't come back. I'm at my desk with the door closed, lights off, acting like nobody's home. I'm on no sleep and little food. I know I can't keep this up. But how can I eat? Not when all I can think of is Rachel and what's left of her. The saddest secret I've ever held. Cleaning up Rachel's body was my form of grief. I kept crying, holding her in my arms, remembering the good times. I kept stroking her neck because her cheek was gone. I just cradled her in my arms, rocking back and forth, apologizing for all the things I'd done, for the things I wouldn't say. I told her she was beautiful, especially her nose, the one she hated, the one somewhere in pieces behind the nightstand. For some reason, I sang Dad's stupid song about fish heads. I told Rachel Dad would have liked her, even though he probably wouldn't have. It was okay to fib. The part of her that knew if I was lying was splattered all over the ceiling, the wall, the bed. It was the part she just wanted gone. I wondered what was going through her head when her thumb pushed down on that trigger, besides the buckshot. I hoped it wasn't about me. Prayed she didn't go out on such a sour note. I wanted to believe that she was picturing that tropical beach, just her and the surf. No one around for miles. Not a single soul with all their fucked up, twisted thoughts. Just her, the sand, and a giant pina colada. I kept rocking, picturing her turning the shotgun around, getting her fingers curled under the handle between her knees. Her thumb fits perfect. The barrel's so long, the hole's so big and black and forever. To get this right, she's leaning forward, bending her head, mouth open. The metal's cold, but clean. The barrel digs into the roof of her mouth, the front sight splitting her lower lip. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters anymore. It never did. Her eyes water when she pushes the shotgun higher, tearing into the flesh, so she knows exactly where it is, making sure the angle's just right. That's all she wants, something to be right. For once. Please. All she needs is 10 pounds of pressure. 10 pounds, and all of her pain will be gone. No more thoughts, ever again. She's got the meaty part of her thumb on the trigger. She's closing her eyes. 10 pounds isn't much. Just a quick shove. A quick shove, and everything stops. No more Brightside. A bead of sweat's running down her nose, the one that's now in pieces. Her mouth's filled with saliva. It's dribbling out of the corners down her chin, just like when I tried to make her drink in the cabin. She needs to hurry. Almost there. She's thinking, goodbye. No one around to hear. She's thinking, sorry for all the men who put her through hell. She's picturing me, her father, the lacrosse team. She's putting more pressure on the trigger. It's now or never. The loudest bang, but she only hears 1/10. All her problems blasting out of her head. Then silence. Peace. Holding Rachel got me thinking about Stephen. A few days after he passed, his parents had a funeral. There was some old Chinese lady playing harp, the women wearing veils, the men holding them lightly, rubbing their arms for comfort. Stephen's mom even rented a swan to waddle around and stretch its neck as they lowered Stephen's little casket into the ground. I begged Dad not to make me go, but he said every man needs to face death. It's coming whether we like it or not. Stephen's mom threw herself on the casket. Stephen's dad pried her off. I'd never heard such screams. The swan apparently hadn't either and started attacking Stephen's aunt. Dad told me to help, but the thing bit my hand and took off for the pond. Still, Stephen got a proper burial, something I couldn't give Rachel. If I had called anyone, they'd find the shotgun, and they'd drug and interrogate me until I cracked. Dad would finally get his wish to be in Brightside, but no one else would ever leave. They'd find the cave, seal it off, and we'd all be stuck. Things would change. They'd bring more boots, more cameras, making sure none of us ever tried anything like this again. I stared into Love-A-Lot's eyes. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But people are depending on me, and I've already let too many people down. I lifted what was left of Rachel into my arms and carried her to the closet. Then, with my parents' voices telling me time was running out, I started cleaning. I put on some yellow rubber gloves. I started with the big chunks, tossing them into a black trash bag, each piece plopping onto the one before. I ran out of paper towels, had to use the extra set of sheets. I kept pouring bleach, scrubbing the floors, never really getting all of the blood in bits, just sort of swirling it around and around. I took 2 showers, dug my nails into the soap, scraping out the little flecks of Rachel. I scrubbed so hard at my skin, I thought I'd reach bone. Then I air dried, because I'd used both bath towels on the floor. I brushed my teeth and combed my hair like it was any other morning here in Brightside. Everything's fine, just going to work. I swept the last puddles towards the kitchen, made sure there was nothing left that could leak into the hall. I stood in front of the open closet, told Rachel I was sorry, that this would all be over soon. Someone would take her to the cemetery, bury her like she deserved. Then I closed the door. The sun was already beginning to rise, soft reds and yellows sifting up from the darkness. Day 100 had officially been going for hours, but it wasn't until the sun took its place above the horizon that this really began. Sarah finally comes back into the office right after lunch. She looks like she's just witnessed an execution. For a second, I wonder if I'm thinking about Rachel, but I'm not. I'm just staring at Sarah, wondering what the hell happened. She picks up the rose off her desk, the one meant for Rachel, the one from Alex. I'm going to be going away for a while. Her voice so soft and confused. It's as if she's still refusing to believe it. The council decided I needed some time in the cabin. For what? You haven't done anything. The roof is off limits, and I broke the rule. She turns to me. Already in my head. She smiles. Don't worry. You're fine. Sharon informed them it was part of your treatment. You've been cleared of all infractions. Sarah, you don't have to go. I can talk. She shakes her head as if she's trying to fling out every single thought of mine, every moment we shared. Don't! Sarah, no, Joe, you've done enough already. And it's my fault. My fault for thinking. Sarah, you don't understand. Everyone's leaving tonight. This place won't be safe. It's your last shot. No, Joe. It's yours. I'm not coming. Sarah wipes the mascara running down her cheek. Now, I have a few hours to spend with Danny, so I'm going to. She gets to the door, opens it, but stops. She's thinking of asking me to stay, to put an end to this before I get myself killed. Then, she wonders if things wouldn't be better that way. She clicks her teeth, upset at herself, at me. She leaves, never once looking back. I find Sharon in her office. She's with this frail Spanish man, one of the new Brightsiders. I shout at her. What the hell did you do? Hello, Joe. As you can see, I'm with a patient. The little Spanish man stares at me with his sad eyes, but mine are locked on Sharon's. You can't do this, I tell her. You can't send Sarah. Let's lower our voices. Unless you want to go with your girlfriend, that can be arranged, you know. I realize the Spanish man speaks no English. He says, Debo ir? No, Sharon says. Joe's leaving. No estoy, I tell her. Then I turn to the man and say, Salir. The man picks up his hat from his lap and scurries out of the room. Sharon forces a smile and closes the door. Glad to see those tapes are paying off. You can't lock her away in... Quiet! You want us all to end up in there? Now, just let... Why did you do this? Because she was never going to come. You don't know that. Actually, I do. And she knows too much. It'll get her hurt. She'll be safe there. Safe? Yes. And Danny? He'll be joining her shortly. Sharon and her perfect plan. I realize I have no idea who this woman is. First, she's spewing New Age bullshit. Now she's the leader of a revolution. No one's ever what they seem on the surface. You need to go back to work, Sharon says. Finish the day. I picture my office. Sarah's desk, the one that used to be Rachel's. Rachel. Clumped in my closet like some disfigured sex doll. Sharon's eyes widen, horrified. She has no idea. It wasn't part of her plan. Sharon's not perfect after all. She just made herself believe she could handle things. Just like I made myself believe I could pull this off. Joe. But I want nothing to do with Sharon's thoughts. I walk out, head back to my office. People pass by my door, which is thankfully closed. I hear Carlos, so I click out of solitaire. I can't tell how many people are with him, but I guess 3 or 4. The high heel's either Francis or Gloria. That laugh, all Alex. Poor Alex, thinking his rose is going to win Rachel's heart. I consider telling him he can have it. It's sitting in my closet, inside Rachel's chest. Carlos and the others start laughing, wanting everyone to hear how happy they are. I open my sales spreadsheet and customer list so it looks like I'm working. I don't even know why I'm still pretending, but I'm on automatic. Shock does that to me. It's keeping me from losing it. I start rearranging pictures of condos into regions. The 2-bedroom with kitchenette is South America. The penthouse with the hammocks on the balcony is in the Australia-New Zealand pile. Everything has its little place. Everything separated, like Brightsiders from normals. Sharon's secret club, and those better off in the cabin. People like Sarah and Danny. Alex speaks way too loud, same as always. "What do you say, Carlos? Oscars for dinner?" Carlos is right outside my door. I don't want to make plans yet," he said. "I have a feeling about today." I sit up and wonder if Carlos is one of Sharon's elite, the chosen few who get to leave. I asked Sharon why not everyone. She said there were too many liabilities, too many who'd become institutionalized. And part of that was her fault. Her Zen bullshit actually convinced some of these pathetic souls Brightside was for the best, that they'd never want to leave if they just opened themselves up to the possibilities, the wonder of this mountain town. Sadly, that's exactly what's going to happen to these poor fucks. They'll never leave. Not after today. Carlos knocks. I put the phone to my ear. He pops his head in, sees me nodding. "Yes, right on the beach, where you can rent jet skis," I say to my imaginary client. Carlos whispers, "How's it going?" I give him the thumbs up. Carlos winks, closes the door. His shirts are always vertical stripes. Today's is red. It makes him look like a candy cane. I have to piss, but they're all standing there, asking what everybody's plans are for the weekend. I want to go out and say a few of us will be dead at the bottom of the mountain. Might even get a few bullet holes if we're up for it. The rest can forget about sleeping in. They'll be in the cabin soon enough. My bladder's throbbing. But I wait until the laughter's gone. I take a peek, see a clear shot to the hallway bathroom, start humming to block everything out. My pace makes me more conspicuous than if I set myself on fire, but I make it to the urinal in the back corner, away from Lenny popping a zit in the mirror. I aim at the drain, counting off random numbers so I can't think of anything else. Lenny leaves. I stuff myself back in my pants, walk over to the sinks, and do my best not to look in the mirror. Men don't cry in bathrooms, at least when there's a chance another dude might come in. I wash my hands and notice a small dribble of blood where my thumbnail disappears into the skin. I scrub and scrub and scrub, seeing Rachel's faceless body, my hands swirling around the contents of her head on the floor. When I take my thumb out from under the water, I realize it's my blood, not Rachel's, because the blood dribbles out again. I'm drying my hands when Wendell, top salesman for the past 3 months, hurries in, all 400 pounds of him between me and the wall, saying "excuse me" as he sticks his hand under the faucet, his massive paws splashing water all over the counter. There are 3 paper towels left. I wait for Wendell to finish and hand them to him so he can finally take a piss. Wendell won't touch his dick unless he washes his hands first. I have no idea why. Just his thing. Wendell's spraying the blue cake, thinking about the weekend, possibly barbecuing a nice burger in the Brightside Park. There's no way Wendell's part of Sharon's plan. I suddenly feel sorry for him. That big dumb bear, stuck here with the rest of the ones Sharon decided are too risky. Wendell still hates me for what happened in the bar when I let out all of my thoughts about everyone, all of my judgments. I give him a little smile to apologize, to say goodbye. He looks at me like I'm hitting on him and quickly exits, not even thinking he should wash after handling himself. The emergency exit is down the hall on the other side of the bathrooms. I consider heading for it, taking it to the roof so I can perform Paul's plunge, but with the helicopter still hovering, I won't even make it to the ledge. This is the helicopter Sharon says I have to take care of, as if I have any chance. Most likely I'll end up in smaller pieces than Rachel. That's probably what Sharon wants. After barging into her office, I'm proving to be the biggest risk of all. It's probably just another part of Sharon's clusterfuck of a plan, to use me as a scapegoat. Everything's accelerated because of Wayne. Since he broke out, the Boots have been patrolling, searching for anything amiss, for his crazy ass. Sheriff Melvin has disabled a lot of the cameras, according to Sharon, which is why they haven't found Wayne. It's buying us time, just like all the bleach in my room, but the Boots will eventually fix the cameras, so we have to be ready. A big spotlight will be put on every nook and cranny. The whole town won't be able to sneeze without someone watching. They'll see us gathering, find the mine shaft. Our one dumb shot at escape will be gone, and anyone in Sharon's special club will be locked away, some in the cabin, others down with the orange jumpsuits. Sharon and I will end up together, most likely underground. The rest of my days with that fucking lunatic, who truly believes she's a revolutionary. I can't deny she's been impressive. For almost 2 years, she's integrated, assimilated, wedged her skinny butt into everything Brightside. I can't imagine trying to pretend for that long. I couldn't even keep Sarah from Rachel. I couldn't tell Rachel I loved her. I'm the fucking coward Dad always warned me about. The crazy leads them into battle, but the coward gets them killed. I'm not going to make it if I keep thinking like this. I have to stay positive, get through the day. That's what Dad also said. Worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow. And if it doesn't come, then your worries are over. If I can't do anything but worry, I can't do anything but worry. It doesn't help being trapped in my office, hearing my coworkers out there bitch about the coffee, the cold weather, the lack of selection in the vending machine. They have no idea what's happening around them. But it's probably for the best. It's the little things that keep us from putting a shotgun in our mouths and blowing out our wonderfully gifted brains. That's what I'm thinking as the clock refuses to budge. Rachel ran out of distractions. The inconsequential crap that keeps us from seeing how awful our lives really are. She knew I didn't love her, that no one ever would, not like she needed. So, she took control, found the only foolproof way out of Brightside. I kept picturing the night I visited Rachel in the cabin. Her sitting so quiet and peaceful, each moment a gentle breeze. Not like now. The wind gone, everything still. Rachel shoved in next to Dad's broken fishing pole. Broken Rachel. Broken gifts. I just can't stop breaking things. It's what I do. Yes, Rachel was broken when I met her, then the cabin broke her more. But I had to go and finish the job. Next, it'll be Sarah. Then Danny. Stupid, happy Danny. The only person who's truly able to find good in anything. But the cabin will end that. They'll inject him, make him swallow the meds. And they'll kill the only spirit in Brightside worth saving. The idea of them destroying that gets me to my feet. I still have an hour of work left. Carlos might call the Boots. But fuck it. Let them sound the alarm. This is the only chance I've got to make things right. The wind cuts across my face and makes my eyes water, so it looks like I'm crying as I walk through the square. I have my headphones on, and the people I pass think I'm on one of my strange walks. Only now I'm apparently working out to music that makes me weep. I don't care. I just need to get to Danny. Need to tell him to talk some sense into his sister. He's the only one who can get through to her. I'm sure he's scared right now, as Sarah tells him she's going to the cabin. She's probably telling him to be strong, that it's the only way they can get through this. Lodge 2 is just up ahead. I start to slow my pace. There's a car parked out front. And an ambulance. I'm too late. I start running. I can imagine Danny fighting off the boots trying to protect his sister. I see the gun pressed to the side of his head, him screaming for Sarah as they drag her from the room. I see the boots crushing his ribs, kicking in his belly. But as I rush in, there's only one person in the hallway. Blue jeans and black windbreaker, cell phone to his ear. He's pacing outside of a room near the stairs, the opposite end of Danny and Sarah's room. I usually stay away from the boots, but this guy's young and doesn't look that dangerous with his aw shucks face. Plus, morbid curiosity is all I seem to be seeking these days. I pass the elevator when he turns my way. He holds the phone to his chest and points over my shoulder. You need to turn around. I've never seen him before, but it's obvious he's weirded out. Whatever is in the room isn't good. I walk closer. The guy tries to use his big boy voice. Did you not hear me? I said turn around. I stop 4 feet from him, close enough to know he isn't counting numbers or singing songs. He can't get the image of rope out of his head. The rope on the other side of the door. I nod past him. Whose room is that? None of your damn business. He's not good at this, and thinks of Robert. I reach for the door and he jumps back like I'm attacking. His right hand slips inside his jacket. Stay back! This poor kid's shaking and has no idea what he's doing. He's scared, and it's going to get me shot. Light reflects off his wedding band a few inches below the gun's barrel. Don't take another step! My voice gets real calm, like I'm trying to put him to sleep. I know him, I say. You don't need to point that at me. He starts counting to himself, just like they trained him, to keep us out of the loop. He realizes he looks like an idiot, aiming at a shithead like me, and his fear gets washed out by embarrassment. Calm down, sir, he says, even though I'm the calmest I've been in months. There's a situation here, and you don't need to see this. I should have kept my goddamn mouth shut, but still said, I just saw Robert this morning. There's no reason for me to be here at all. I came here for Danny, not Robert. The guy sees my nerves showing and tells me to wait. He says he'll be right back. He slips into Robert's room. I think about running, but if I do, I might as well run straight to the cabin. I need to just stick, see whatever is behind that door, start crying, act like I'm getting sick, then leave. The guy didn't close the door behind him. I see a shadow swaying across the wall. I hear a voice. Who saw him? It's Palmer, the asshole who put the gun to my head, the fucker who wants to finish the job. I'm already turning, realize I've made a huge mistake, when Palmer's dirty fingers grab the door. His face, those mirrored sunglasses pointed straight at me. What's all this about? I have no choice but to turn around. Palmer sees me, and that creepy smile spreads across his acne-scarred cheeks. Can I help you? No, The truth. Just stick to the truth. I saw Robert yesterday. I thought you said this morning. I did, but I meant yesterday. Palmer lowers his sunglasses, studies me. I've made such a swamp of shit, and I keep diving deeper and deeper. Look, I say. Robert was talking about Wayne King. He said he was going to find him. The door opened a little more, and the smell of actual shit hit me. Yeah, pretty nasty stuff. Palmer opened the door all the way. He wanted me to see. Wanted to look me in the eyes when I did. The newbie stood a few feet from the window, the wooden chair lying across the kitchen floor, the giant square of plastic right in the center. Puddle of piss and shit on top of it. He was thinking Palmer was the coldest dude he'd ever worked with. Worse than his uncle that used to show him snuff films. I don't know why, but I'm walking in the room. Robert must have learned from Belinda, who fell from the fan when it couldn't hold her weight. He cut away a section of sheetrock in the ceiling. One end of the rope is wrapped around a 2x4, the other around his black turtleneck, covering that hole in his throat. He's swinging with his back to me. Palmer looks at me and pokes Robert in the ribs with his small baton, sends Robert swinging a few inches. Kind of low, Palmer says, "So, when did you see him last?" "Yesterday. He was looking for Wayne." Robert's black microphone is dangling off the kitchen counter. No final words from Robert. "What do you know about Wayne King?" Palmer asks. I quietly remembered the first time I saw Wayne. It was after Crystal had kicked me out and I was thinking about Mom. Palmer's smile somehow gets creepier. There's no way a boot could be one of us, but I wasn't taking any chances. In case he was listening, I kept thinking about Wayne, about my mom, about Crystal. As disgusting as it is, it wasn't going to get me in trouble. Robert spins. His face is bigger than I remember. His skin all puffed out, tinged the lightest blue, just like his eyes, wide open, squiggly red lines surrounding them. But it's his tongue that paralyzes me. It's so big, pushed out all the way, the tip halfway down his chin. Palmer's walkie-talkie goes off, but he keeps staring at me, waiting for me to slip. "Palmer, where the hell are you?" a voice says. It sounds like Sheriff Melvin, but I can't be sure. Palmer's jaw clenches, the muscle that just below the ear flexing like a little tumor. Finally, he answers. "Investigating the Madison case." He wants me to know I'm not going anywhere. "I got Joe Nolan here." Melvin tells him they think they got a location on Wayne King, that he needs to get his ass over to the square. Palmer's still staring at me, and I'm just humming, trying to plug the leaking boat I call a brain. I'm trying not to think about Melvin, Sharon, her fortunate few. I close my eyes, breathe in the shit and piss puddle under Robert's swinging feet. The newbie runs over to Palmer and accidentally bumps Robert, sending him swinging again, spinning him like a giant marionette. This time another drop of piss lands on the floor, right next to my foot. The newbie just wants to get out of there. He says I obviously didn't do this, that they need to get to the square. Palmer extends his baton with a snap of his wrist. "You got 5 seconds to tell me what happened here," he says to me. I can't look at Palmer anymore. I stare at Robert spinning. And I don't know how in the hell I didn't notice it before. The front of Robert's briefs poking out. His little boner all that's left to say hello. "You really don't know?" I ask, suddenly kind of cocky. Palmer tilts his head, knows I'm hiding something. But Melvin is telling him to hurry. Palmer pokes me with the baton. "I'll be seeing you real soon. Count on it." I keep humming, staring at Robert's face, all big and blue.